Do you know that you can build a business, be successful, and still be in your feminine power? If you have no clue what I'm talking about, but you would like to understand more, then keep on watching. Hello, by the way, welcome. I'm Christine. I'm glad you're here. Welcome if you're new to the channel. Welcome back if you're not new. A big thank you and a big shout out to the channel members. I appreciate all of your support. Today, we're going to take a look at a podcast episode with that title: How You Can Build a Business, be successful, and be in your feminine power. I will not do a lot of explaining right from the start. I will give more background information as we go along. So let's get started with this podcast episode right away. I will play it at 1.25 speed. In itself, I find nothing wrong with that title, but you will see why I thought it was interesting to take a look at this episode.
Hi, you guys. Welcome to this week's episode of the Expand and Evolve podcast. I'm your host, Carly Pynchon. And if you've never been here before, thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited. Just to speak, like I haven't just freely spoke in a minute. And I was just recording some Instagram stories and I was like, this is too long. I need to just go speak on a podcast because there's so much brewing in my mind right now in regards to two different things that I'm probably going to end up talking about. Debt load, money, building as a female, and building a business as a woman, and being a builder. Of businesses, or like wanting to create and put your things out in the world. And I just feel like I'm going to go through kind of like my own process of what I realized about myself recently. And I led a team call last night where we talked a lot about debt and the energetic weight that can put and almost block it can create towards money free flowing to you depending on your debt load. And so these are kind of the ideas that are swirling. I'm just going to free speak. It's going to be way more business focused and money focused. So for those of you who have been wanting an episode like that from me, this is the one that's going to be kind of about those topics, but I have no plans. And if you guys know me, I normally don't have plans. I'm just going to speak. Both my kids are home, so I'm hoping that they stay quiet. So let's get started. Okay, so I was just on my Instagram stories talking about a realization I had, and I will give credit to two people. One person who is a friend of mine, dear friend. I appreciate him so much. He's been honestly playing such a pivotal role in my life because he calls me out on stuff that I'm not really aware of, and it helps me self-reflect. And if you don't have people in your life like this, you need them, because as much as in the moment I'm like, what the hell? Like, you don't know me. Like, what are you talking about? Where is that coming from? I realize that there's always a little bit of some level of truth to it, or at least I have the ability to self-reflect and really question, like, is this true? Is it not? Is there some level of truth to this that I could be missing? And what I realized was I was in a freeze mode in terms of building or taking any really big next steps in my life, because underneath it all, and I'll explain this in a sec, I had this rooted belief that ultimately, to sum it up, building means destruction. And I will explain this in the way that in my relationship and in my marriage, and I've talked about this before, I ended up taking on the provider role, in the sense that I went out, I built a business, I put a lot of my energy into building a business. I was doing it from a very it was from passion, right? Like I built my business from passion, from excitement, from like the love for it, and all of those things are great. And I've built it to a place where it's given me so much time freedom now because I invested that time then to build it to the place that it is today, and I'm so grateful for that. However, in that season of build mode, I didn't know what I know now. And so I will just say, basically, on masculine and feminine energies, like I built it from a more masculine place, in the sense of like doing, spending a ton of time on it, feeling like if I wasn't working hard, I wasn't worthy of more money. And so like, you need to work hard and you need to grind and you need to be going at it 24/7 if you're going to see results, and like very like rah masculine, right? In order to build it. And sometimes you need that energy and you need to channel that masculine, that driver in you, in order to move forward and create and like get things going and build momentum. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But in the process of doing that, I kind of neglected my health. Like I put my health on the back burner. Didn't really I wasn't really prioritizing my wellness as much as I normally do. I definitely was like waking up in the morning and like getting on my phone right away and working right away. And so I wasn't reading or meditating. Like I did do that stuff. Like I listened to podcasts, and it was very, again, like the Ed Milet, like rah, go, you can accomplish anything. And like, that's great in different seasons in order to build. But in that season, also my marriage fell apart.
She speaks about building and about male and female energy. She also speaks about relationships. That is not interesting for me and for the purpose of this video. So I will focus on the business side of this story, and to give you a little bit of background information, what is masculine and what is feminine energy, and how do they work. I think that's quite important for background information when she speaks about being able to build in your female energy. I'm personally not a fan of those types of descriptions of different types of energies. They do exist, yes, different characteristics, different character traits, different times where you might need to put more or less energy or different type of energy into something. But I personally don't like this male-female energy verbiage, because in my my opinion, it does keep a cliche alive that I personally disagree with. According to an article that I will link down below, the masculine energy is the energy of doing, of setting goals, and of achieving them. It is an energy that creates structure, rules, and is a very logical energy based on the mind. Characteristics, among others, might include rational thinking. I mean, it says national thinking here, but I suppose it's supposed to be rational, problem solving, independent, and it provides for and protects the feminine. So the masculine energy is the strong energy based on doing, and the female is peaceful and calm, nurturing, empathetic, loves to communicate, and receives from masculine energy. The female energy is portrayed as the opposite, as the yin to the yang, if you believe in Chinese symbolism, for example, and it is based on flow and emotions and not on the rigid doer male energy. When she speaks on this podcast about building, she speaks about building a team, because this is somebody who's recruiting people, because this is somebody who is in Arbonne. She was able to hit the highest rank in Arbonne, Canada, and that, for background information, is what she means when she speaks about building. Her marriage, she says, ended while she was in this masculine, aggressive recruiting mode in Arbonne. And we have seen and heard this also quite a lot, that lots of partnerships ended when distributors focused so strongly on recruiting. But let's continue with the podcast and let's see where all of this is going.
And I didn't realize that subconsciously, I think I had a belief that when I build, like, there's destruction. And so subconsciously, there was a part of me that felt like if I go back into build mode, into my masculine, no masculine man is going to want me. I'm not going to be able to find the partner I want. I didn't know this was like a belief, right? But this is like, this is where subconscious and ego is a tricky little biatch, because like you can form these beliefs that you know logically are not true, but you can almost start to operate differently in your life because of these weird little beliefs that you have. And so I had created this belief that if I go back into build mode, I'm going to be in my masculine energy, even though I know how to build from feminine energy in terms of like, and you need both. This is where like feminine and masculine energy can be so silly, because it's like you can do it from both. You're going to need to channel your masculine in terms of like logic and order and planning and like the logistical, orderly stuff. But you can build from your feminine. Like if you're building from a creative place where you have desires and it's flowy in the sense of like, you don't just let your life flow and it happens. No, you need some level of planning, but it flows in the sense that it feels creative and it's almost natural to you to operate in that way. That's flowy to me. Sometimes I think people on Instagram, you're like, you should be in a flow state of ease. And it's like, yes. And there's going to be seasons, especially when you're building a business, it's going to take some serious focus and grind. And you need to be able to channel all of that. And if you want to better understand like masculine, feminine energies and like how you can tap into your feminine superpowers, I do have a course on this, because this is the exact stuff I had to learn personally myself in the journey of stepping out of my masculine and stepping back into my body myself, being connected to me and learning how to build from a more aligned feminine place out of desire rather than like force and power. And so I have a course all about this and like everything that I learned in that process of shifting into more of my feminine and allowing things to just build in a different way. Okay. So I'm at this point now, I'm doing this call with Angelica Ray. She's super awesome. I have a podcast episode with her. And I was breaking down because I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like I feel frozen because like part of me doesn't want to live in Canada and I know I'm going to be in the States and like I know my husband's going to be not from Canada. Like I have this feeling he's going to be from the States and I'm going to end up moving anyway. So like what's the point in doing anything now? And I caught myself in that moment as I said it. I didn't say it like that, but I realized it internally that I went, oh my God, you're waiting. You're sitting in this waiting energy and nothing comes from waiting. Like waiting energy is basically a repellent to the universe saying like, keep everything I've ever wanted away from me. This is what you can think of it as, okay? When you are in that waiting energy, like it doesn't allow things to come to you, to flow to you, you're not doing out of a desire and you're not taking aligned action. You're just kind of in freeze mode. And in freeze mode, you're not going to attract anything to you. That's the state that I was in. Again, not even really realizing it. So last year, I feel like I was still in a space of like, okay, I can build my income up. I can like double my business. All of this stuff was great. My current business that I already had, that felt easy to build in my, let's just say feminine energy, right? Like I knew I could build from desire. I could build from setting intentions. I could build from what felt good. I could build from not working 24/7. I could build from just taking intentional aligned actions daily that didn't have to be crazy toward what I wanted, while still prioritizing me, my health, calling in a partnership, calling in a relationship, all the things, right? That was easy for me to think about doing with my current business. I didn't realize though that I had the subconscious belief that in order to build out anything new, it was going to, again, take that level of grind, intention, focus, force, power. Like that's what I associate building a new business with, because that's what I did both of my last businesses with when I started them. And so anyways, I had to realize for me that this was holding me back. And another thing that was holding me back was waiting until I met the partner in order to take my next steps in terms of like buying the next property, starting the next school. And I had all these limiting beliefs of like, if I buy this property and like invest my money here, oops, sorry, I hit the mic, and invest all my money here and like buy a property or like build a dream home or do any of that, like what kind of masculine man is going to want to come into my life? Which now I'm past this, but like in the moment, this felt very real to me. That like if I kept finding more success, if I kept building more businesses, if I kept earning more money, if I kept succeeding, that I was like limiting the pool of men that may be an option for me. Because when you go on a dating app or you go on dates or you hang out with normal people in regular life, you realize that like as a female, when you're earning more than them, because of how my marriage ended up, I'm like, I never want to be the sole provider again. I don't want to be the provider. And at this point in my life, I feel like, honestly, I feel like a guy has to be more successful than me in terms of like, he's built a business, he's done the emotional work, he's done all the internal stuff. He has a strong spiritual connection. He has a strong internal emotional connection. He knows who he is. He has a vision for his life. He has a successful business or 5, owns homes, like bigger and better homes than me. Like, so that honestly, this is going to sound funny that like, he can look at me and be like, that's so cute. Like, aw, your business is cute. Because to some people, they would think I have a massive business. I almost feel like I need him to come in and be like, aw, that's so cute.
That doesn't sound funny, though. To me, that sounds rather condescending. I personally wouldn't want to have a partner who is so blasé and so patronizing to the things that I have achieved. I think having a partner who can challenge me in my personal life, in my job, in whatever business adventures I have, that is great. I totally support that, but not with that kind of attitude. I'm personally not much interested in this energy flow thing that she describes. I think it's cool if it's for you, if you do differentiate between these types of energies. But for me, it is really not that interesting. To me, her story also sounds like she is blaming herself for her marriage failing because she was in this builder mode and she was the one who provided for the family, who had the financial pressure, and that is something that she doesn't want anymore, which is legitimate if that is not something that's interesting to you anymore in the current state of your life, or you think there are too many disadvantages. But to me, it sounds like she focused so much on arbonne that her relationship and her family were on the back burner. And that is something that I do see in a lot of anti-MLM content as well, where people say, you know what, your relationship can really suffer. And I understand why. If you have to work around the clock to recruit and to sell in an MLM in the hopes that it will pay off at some point. Put in the work now, work 24/7, really be full of energy, drive your business forward in the hopes that a couple of years down the line, you will be able to take a couple of steps back and you will be able to profit off of the things that you worked for. This is something that most people in network marketing cannot relate to, that they put in the work now and then they will reap the benefits in the future. She is an exception in this case to the rule. She was lucky because she was able to hit the highest rank in arbonne in Canada, but 99% of arbonne Huns, they cannot relate. The national vice presidents, that was 1% of all of the people in arbonne in 2023. And like I said, most people in arbonne cannot relate to her story, when in 2023, a typical arbonne independent consultant in the United States earned a median income of $191 in commission and overrides. That is before expenses. So most people in arbonne, they end up losing money.
And not necessarily like it has to be that, but at this point, I'm starting to feel like maybe, right? In order for someone to be able to come in and handle, because guys are funny. Like they get in this space, I feel like, where if they feel like you're doing better than them, they can't handle it. Like most men are going to have an issue with that. And obviously I don't need that type of person to be my man, but it made me start realizing like I was putting on the back burner, starting my next businesses, getting the school going, but like buying the next house, starting a new business. I was avoiding building anything because I thought if I build more, I'm limiting my ability and like I'm never going to be able to find a relationship. Ultimately, that was like the deep rooted belief that if I keep building and I keep finding success and I keep doing these things and I keep moving forward, I'm going to step into my masculine energy. No man is going to want me. This is all bullshit, by the way, but these are like weird beliefs that obviously were kind of in there. And I had to realize like this isn't true. Like none of this is actually true. And this is the funny part. Like logically, you can know it's not true, but internally in your body, this could be a program that you're running from and kind of deeply believe. And so anyways, I finally realized after this call, she was like, you're a builder. And honestly, I give it credit to both of them because the night before I had a conversation with my friend. I don't know, I could say his name, but it doesn't matter. And we talked about all of this. And I was almost in tears in the sense of like, I know that I wanted to do this school and have all these things, but I was like putting it all off because I was afraid to say like deeply though, like I want this partnership. And I was almost in like a waiting energy of like, well, when that partnership comes in, then I'll buy the property. When this partnership comes in, then I'll know where I'm going to live. When this partnership comes in, then I'm going to know this, which is so ridiculous. Like me saying this out loud, I'm like, I can't even believe I was functioning like that for a little bit, but it had me frozen. And anyway, so now the thumbs up. And so then the next day I had the call with Angelica Ray, and she is the one who said to me, she was like, Carly, you're a builder. You've always been meant to build. You have a feminine essence. You're never going to be like a man just because you're building. Like you are here to create and to build, and you're meant to do that over and over and over again. And I went, oh, like it gave me the freedom almost to feel like the way that I still want to keep building, because when you go through personal growth too, when you go through healing, it's like, okay, well, who am I? Am I worthy without this stuff? Like, do I only want to build because I deem myself worthy when I'm building something or being successful? Like, is that the only reason I think I'm worthy? And you go on these spirals where then it's like, you're almost questioning the way in which you do everything and like the energy in which you do everything from. And I had to realize like these next things that I want to build are not strictly for clout or ego or recognition or success. They're truly out of like serving humanity. And there's nothing more feminine than that. Like if your vision and your purpose and your mission is something to truly serve and help others, that is what women, and men too, but like women especially, that is what you're here to do. Is like that thing that you care about deeply. You're meant to go help people and create from that energy. And that's how we build, is from a place of service. And if you can keep it in the sense that it is truly service hearted, you do want to help others and you're building from that space, that's feminine. That's what we're here to do.
But you're not an arbonne because you're there to help and serve others, least of all humanity. You're there to help yourself. You're there to make an income and to make a paycheck yourself. It has nothing to do with serving others. Serving humanity? Absolutely not.
And so I think there's so much out there telling women like you need to flow and be and like let the man be the provider and lead you. But like who is leading you right now when there's no man in your life? Like it's got to be you. And so it's like you need to get down, like you need to perfect the role of being the provider and the security and the safety and all of these things for yourself. And then because you have that state within you, you're going to attract a healthy energetic match, meaning that the partner that you're with or the partner that you attract into your life, because you are healthy and balanced within your own masculine and feminine energy, you're going to call in a partner who's also balanced in their masculine and feminine energy. And like, because of that, you're going to get the guy who can be the provider, can be secure, can be safe, can do all of those things, and also provide for you emotionally because he's connected to his feminine, which is his heart. And when he's connected to his heart, he's going to be able to meet you, see you, hear you, understand you, connect with you emotionally in such a different way. And so this is just like a fun little tidbit on relationship, because I literally seem to not be able to do a podcast without talking about relationships lately. But I noticed for myself, I was waiting. So if there's any place in your life where you are waiting right now, in regards to anything, like we had a team call last night and she was like, well, in September, when my kids go back to school and this happens and this happens, and this happens, well, then I'll be able to. And I was doing that too and thinking like, I'll do this next step once I have this. No, anytime you say that, you're procrastinating, you're waiting, and you're repelling everything you want from you. So I had to realize like, no, I've got to keep taking action. And like, I'll give all credit to my friend that night. He was like, God would never want you waiting. Like, do you really think he'd want you waiting on some guy like to come in before you decide to do these things that you know in your heart you're meant to do? And I was like, no, you're right. Like, I don't know why I was frozen, but I was in this freeze state. And so I went, holy shit, you're right. And so that conversation, in line with the conversation I had with Angelica, gave me the freedom and the permission to be like, you are meant to build, step back into your power. My power is building. Like, I'm really good when I'm on. I'm like, I can build a business. I can take things to the next level. I can build success. I can do all these things. So I needed to step back into my power of knowing like, this is what I want. These are my next steps. It cannot be for anyone else outside of me. It can't be on hold for some relationship or some guy. It's like, I've got to do me, live my life, do all the right things. And by continuing on my path, my personal path of my personal next steps, it's going to allow me to go in the direction I need to go for this partner or this friendship or this relationship or this connection to come to me. And this is the beauty when you are in your feminine superpowers. When you take aligned action and you move toward the thing that you know is in your heart that you're meant to do, you become magnetic. For every single thing that you want in your life is going to find its way to you. You don't need to go out looking or seeking or finding or hunting. That's kind of like the dude's role. As a female, you become like this supercharged magnet that pulls everything in that you want by focusing on you. So you utilize your own masculine energy within you to like get clear, get focused, move forward, charge forward on whatever it is you need to do. So for me, let's just take my example. Like, I know I need to start the school. It's coming up to September. I want Daxon to actually have a homeschool pod, all these things. Like, time is coming close to the time when I wanted something to be in place. Okay, well, it's not going to magically happen. I need to physically take aligned actions to make this thing happen, which means I better start looking for properties, looking for the right people that are going to be able to help me in creating this thing that I want to create. Okay, so I didn't physically have to really do much aside from saying I'm open, want to find a property, got clear on what the property is that I want, wrote down a list, like kind of how I have a PPV list for the man that is going to be in my life. Like I wrote it for the house, and I'm not kidding. The next day, a property pops up. I don't know for sure if it's going to be this one. I'm going to look at it again after this to see, but I'm not worried about that. Like the right property is going to pop up.
What I hear is take action. Don't wait to build, aka recruit an arbonne. Don't wait to reach out to potentials until your children are back in school. That's kind of the advice that she gave this other person, or kind of the learnings that she took for herself. Do it now. And that is why so many Huns are burnt out and think they still need to push through, because they hope that one day they might get this energy, this magnetic energy to attract money, abundance, positive energy. That is such general bad advice. You can severely harm someone who is overwhelmed, who should actually take a step back, consider, take a look how they work, change how they work, don't stop but adjust how you work, and then you're able to avoid burnout. But if you just push through, rah, 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 or with this female energy, build all the time in your female energy mode, and then you will become this magnet that attracts everything around you, that is a burnout in the making. That is such bad advice.
And I know because, again, like I got clear on what I want. Okay, so all I'm doing, right, is moving forward towards the thing that I want. So all I can really do right now, I don't really need to find out details. I just need to find the property that's going to work. Everything else is going to come to me. I'm sharing it with people who I love and trust. I'm telling them about what I'm doing. People have heard my podcast. Okay, so what happens? A designer flops in my lap that's going to help me create the house and like the schoolhouse that I want. Okay, great. Did I have to go out and find him? Nope. Magnetize him toward me. The teachers, did I have to go out and find them? Nope. Talk to the right people. They know the connections. Boom. Magnetize them toward me. All I'm doing is staying aligned in my direction of where I want to be and where I want to go. And the right things, people, resources are being magnetized toward me. You have the exact same power, but you need to get clear on what it is you really want and move out of your own damn way. If you're in that waiting energy or like unclear energy, I wasn't being clear. And if you're not being super clear with what you want and the next steps of what you want, which is where you need to channel your inner masculine to be like very decisive, you're going to keep going in loops and circles because you're not giving any clear direction. You need to give clear direction, whether you believe in God, universe, whatever. Think of God just hanging out like, all right, girl, I'm waiting. He's literally sitting there like, what do you want? Like okay, when you're ready, think of it like a man. When you're ready to tell me what you need, just tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. Okay, great. So get clear on the conversation within you so that you can give clear direction to the universe, the spirit guides, your angels, God, whatever, to freaking hand it to you and start aligning things to give you that thing.
So if you're not formulating clearly what you want, you will not attract that thing that you want, the specific thing that you want. You will not attract money, houses, teachers like a magnet. That is why you're lost, because you're not specific enough.
And when it comes from a servant-hearted place of wanting to do something outside of your ego and for humanity, I promise you, things are always going to align to bring you there. Anyways, I'm gonna give another shout out to my own course because like I teach about all of this stuff within it. So if you need help and want more of a deep dive in that, go buy the course. Like it's so helpful. Like I go through all of these steps and the different ways that you can channel all of this within you and start to get really good at this within your own body. Okay. So that's the Empowered Feminine course. I'll link it in the show notes. Anyways, so where am I going with this? Anyways, basically understanding that you are a magnet, you attract everything you want to when you get super clear. You are allowed to build and be successful as a female, and you don't have to do it out of force and power. You can do it out of just taking aligned action and calling the things in toward you. I'm not having to stress 24/7 in order of like how this is going to happen. I have the clear vision and know by me moving toward the thing that I want, the right people are going to come toward me. Same thing with this partner. Like I don't need to go out searching for him. He's going to find me and it's going to happen through me just doing the things and living my life in aligned action with me and what my heart truly wants. The right people are going to come in, the right partner that's going to match me and either want the same things or like fall in love with me for everything I'm doing is coming. Does this make sense? So it's like I almost had to have a reframe of, okay, well, maybe let's just take this as another example. Like maybe this partner that I want and this thing that I was waiting for, maybe he's already called in the type of partner that he wants. And like, maybe he has on his PPV list that she created a school and he literally is never going to meet me or come into my life until I create it because that's part of his list. Does this make sense? How like you have to keep moving in your truest, most authentic direction to you and yourself and your heart in order for everything else to line up. Does this make sense? So anyways, having that call with her and her giving me permission to say like, you are a natural born builder. You're never going to do it out of your masculine energy. Like it's strictly because you are just feminine in your essence. Like it's okay that you need to build. And I'm not building out of needing to be successful for worth. Like I think I was also afraid to build out of like, okay, but I should be worthy just as me doing nothing. And like, yes, but I've done a lot of nothing and doing a lot of nothing gets boring and it takes away your passion. And I didn't have the same like zest for life or like the passion to wake up in the morning because I wasn't working toward anything. And I think as you step into this like masculine, feminine energy dynamic, you start to think you're supposed to be fine just being. And yes, you need to just be, but we're also human beings who are meant to evolve this planet and like are meant to evolve and expand ourselves. And in order to do that, we got to do stuff. And I think there's all these quotes out there like, you're a human being, not a human doing. And like, yeah, you don't need to be overly productive 24/7 doing shit that's also not beneficial to you, but you do need to do stuff that feels good and aligned to you. Like it's, for me, the things that I'm doing right now, it's like bettering, it's going to have a positive impact on society. Yeah, we are meant to create and build and do things that are great for humanity and serve others. So if you're just wasting all your time doing stuff that's like just to be productive, no, that's not useful. But you should have a lot of things in your life that light you up and make you feel good. And when you're in that, you become even more magnetic to attract even more things toward you that I need a sip of water or fizz, I should say, because it's not water. Anyways.
Of course, because an arbonne can never just drink water. It has to be fizz, which is the fizz steak, their version of an energy drink, of a powder that you mix with water, which by the way has a lot less caffeine than just a normal coffee. So if you actually want to feel something, just drink a coffee.
You attract these things toward you that your heart really desires. Okay. So I wanted to share on that really fast because I feel like it is beneficial to remind you, especially if you've stepped into this place of energetics and polarity of like masculine and feminine and all the things that like you 1000% can be both. You can build a business and you can be feminine. You can grow massive successful businesses and still be feminine. You can be a boss babe and still be feminine. It's the energy that you do it from. So if you're doing anything that you're doing in your life, if it's coming from the service of others, or like even right now, if it's to service your family, like you're beginning your entrepreneurial journey and you're beginning your businesses and all the things in order to serve the people in your life and your family, that is service. You are serving the people around you. That's important. We need money. Unfortunately, we live in a world right now where money is the currency that allows us to do things. And you just need to think of it as an energetic exchange. That's all it is. The same way that people used to barter with product, like now we have money, and that's what gives us the things that we want and desire. So if you want to live a big, bold, beautiful life, like you need money for that. And if you want to do things and experience things and travel and have really good food and eat really well and live in a beautiful place and like do good things for humanity, like you need money. So don't feel bad about needing money or wanting to build more success for you and your family.
Just believe whatever you do is what you do out of service for your family or for others. And then it is okay to scam others and watch a lot of other people lose money. Make yourself believe that your arbonne business, which is not your business, is a service to others, and just ignore the destruction, aka more than 99% of people losing money. The regular arbonne in 2023 made $131. Then that, I guess, is something you do need to ignore, and you need to tell yourself that what you do is because you provide service.
And if you're single and you're in that place where I was, and I'm realizing I'm going to split this up with the debt one. I think that can be a totally different episode just for the people who want that. I'll launch it separate so that this one stays a little bit shorter. But if you are single right now and you are building and you're like, frick, like these girls who have nothing, because they like, you'll see this on Instagram and TikTok a lot too. Like the super successful guys, like they don't care about what you've accomplished or achieved. They don't care if you've been really successful. And if anything, like some of them don't want a girl who's wildly successful because she's too masculine, and they want someone who's feminine and like willing to just stay home and be with the kids, and that's all fine. But I think it's like, you can't not do what you are pulled and called to do for a guy. And I think this helped me understand it even more powerfully when I was having the conversation. He's like, do you really think if you're standing in front of God that he would be like, oh yeah, stop everything you're doing for a man, like a little man on this planet? No. Like if you're meant and you have these like big, bold dreams and visions and things that you know you were meant to create in this world, you cannot put that on hold at the thought that like there's not going to be a guy who can match you. Because with anything in this world, like we have, if you are you, there's someone who can match you. And maybe you just need to create and do those things first and go on more of a journey of becoming even more of who you are, even more in line with what your truest heart's desires are, in order to be in the place that it's going to be an energetic match for that person. Because ultimately right now, let's say I stayed in this freeze mode, right? I stayed in freeze, I stayed in waiting and putting my power outside of me in some relationship, which I still like super strongly want to call in a partnership and a relationship. But I think I was almost like obsessing over that thing coming, which is outside of me. I can't control the timing. I can't control when it's going to happen. All I can do is keep doing me, and doing me is right now focusing on me again, focusing on building what I know I need to build. And so it's like, it allowed me to almost switch that. And now I'm like, yeah, I still want that thing, but I'm not obsessing over it. Like I had to let go of wondering like when it's going to happen and who it's going to be and where is it going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. Like it was taking up so much of my energy.
But I think if you're specific enough and you put out what you want very specifically, then you're a magnet and then that man would automatically come to you. So which one is it? Either you have a certain amount of control over this or you don't. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Where now I'm like, no, I'm just going to exist and do the things for me. And yeah, I have the space for it. Like I'm ready when that person decides to come in, but I can't put my life on hold to try to make that thing happen first. Does this make sense? So if you're in that place and you're afraid to continue building or being successful, just know that you have to keep prioritizing living your life. And by living your life in alignment with you and your heart and your truest values and desires, like the right people are going to find you. And they're going to be magnetized toward you, and you don't need to be worried about that. So I hope that that was helpful. That was really random because I didn't know what I was going to talk about. But ultimately, yeah, I had a fear that building meant destruction. And if you have been someone who stepped into your masculine in the past in order to build something, you may have had that same fear underlying somewhere within you. And especially if you've taken any space and time to learn about like masculine and feminine energy, there's so much out there that I feel like you have to understand that masculine and feminine is not masculine means man and feminine means woman. They are both within every single one of us as human beings. And in order to be healthy and balanced within you, you need to master both. So you need healthy, balanced masculine energy within you just as much as you need healthy, balanced feminine energy within you. We all have ways that we operate from our wounded in both. Men and women operate from wounded feminine, wounded masculine. Some people are more than others. And so it's like everything is polarity. If you step heavily into your masculine in the power dynamic struggle of a relationship, your partner is going to drop into their feminine unless they can shift that power dynamic back in order to take on that masculine role, and then you drop back into your feminine. But if they aren't able to do that and you're overpowering them, right? Because it's not just on them that they didn't like step up and lead. It's like, no, you overpowered them. Or vice versa, right? They could have overpowered you. You have to come back to a place where you like eventually you come to more of an equilibrium within partnership and relationship. But that's where when you're in your healthy, balanced masculine and feminine energy within you, your healthy, whole, happy, complete, balanced person, you're going to attract a partnership like that. And you can create that in your current relationship too. So yeah, I hope that was helpful to understand that both exist within you. If you're creating from your heart and your deepest like desires, you can build a business and still be feminine and still be desirable by another person. And you cannot put your life on hold or wait in order to make like create the space to have average people. Like if you're not average and you don't want to live a mediocre, normal, average life, and you want to build your life, your business, yourself to like a top 1% in life, right? Like you do things differently. You take care of yourself. Okay, well, if you're taking care of your health, you're already above like 50% of the population. So you've already squashed down the people who are going to be an energetic match for you if you're looking for those same types of things. If you build a really successful business, okay, well, we know most people don't have successful businesses. Most people are living like paycheck to paycheck, or they have a normal employment job, and like none of this is bad. It's just different. So it's like if you're looking for those things,
None of that is bad. But here I am on a podcast telling you why it is bad and why you are just average. There is a lot of entitlement happening here that I'm personally not very fond of. You are not more special than others or more worthy than others because you were able to make more money in Arbonne than other people. You're not more special or more worthy than others because you're comfortable luring people into a network marketing company where most people will lose money, or at least in 2023 it made $131. I guess you do need to make yourself and others believe that what you do there is an act of service and you are a money magnet, because none of that would otherwise make a lot of sense. She got lucky in a network marketing company. She got lucky in Arbonne, and she was able to reach the top 1% in Arbonne in Canada. And she very likely was also able to push her morals aside. At some point, when you rise in the ranks in a network marketing company, in your back end, you do see what's actually going on. And then all of this boo-boo speech is something that I don't believe works anymore. She needs to ignore the fact that other people financially suffer so that she can profit. That's of course just my opinion. That is how I believe network marketing at least works. I cannot take a look inside her head, but none of that makes sense to me at all. You do know that most people on your team lose money. So why do you tell yourself and others that you're doing a service to others? Either because it's very performative, or you did brainwash yourself into believing that that is actually true. And that is wild. So let's watch the podcast. Let's watch it till the end. We're almost there, and I'll be right back.
so in your life you have to know that like there's only one of you, you only need one of them. And the way I see it now for myself is like the man I'm supposed to be with is not going to be intimidated or feel any less than about themselves because I built businesses. They're not going to care. They're going to be like, that's so cute that you built businesses. Great. Like, let me take care of you now. That's what I see coming in for me. Yeah. So I don't know. Sorry, I'm like hiccuping. I don't know if that's helpful, but I just wanted to say if you've ever had the fear of continuing to build, and this is something else that I think happens is like some women sometimes are afraid to continue building their business or like taking things to the next level because they're afraid of what that will do in their partnership. And that's where like you need to start having open, honest conversations about that with your current partner. And I would just say if you want to take on that main provider role, or like you have a business that's super successful and that's where your relationship is going, that you need to have things in place first that they're never going to lose their mission, vision, or purpose in the process of you taking on the financial role. Because it's not really about the money, right? It's about having a vision, a mission, and a purpose for your life and direction. And as long as you guys either have like a couple's aligned direction or they have their own mission purpose that they're working toward and you have yours, but like you also have an ultimate family goal or like relationship goal of like where you're moving, then that's okay to have both. Anyways, that was a really random rant. I don't even know what I said. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to record a separate one about the debt exercises that we did and like just the conversations that we had yesterday. If you guys want to learn about that. And I just want to say like you can create whatever it is you want in this world. You are so powerful. Like I really want you to understand that if you were a magnet, right? And all of your thoughts and the direction you were going toward was attracting everything toward you, that would mean that even when you're in a shitty space and even when you have shitty thoughts and even when you are misaligned or like not moving toward the direction that you know you should be going, you're still kind of a magnet. You're just probably attracting the things that you don't really want toward you. And that's for you to take the space to get really clear on like, what is it? Close your eyes, hands on your heart. Like, what do you really want for you? What do you want in your life? And how can you start taking simple baby step aligned actions toward that? And then by doing that and getting clear, you can attract any level of resources, abundance, money, people, anything to you. Everything is just energy. So see money as just another way of energy exchange. You're deserving of having, if you're exerting energy in whatever you're doing, are you not deserving of compensation for that? And that's where like a worth thing might come in for you of realizing like, oh shit, I don't actually think I'm that worthy because I exchange energy all the time. And I believe like you might have a deep rooted money belief that you have to work hard in order to make money. And like, it's a struggle and everything's always a struggle. So as soon as things get easy, you're like, oh my God, something must be wrong. And you self-sabotage. We're like, no, you should receive, not easily, but like you should be able to receive money without like overexerting yourself. You don't have to live your life that way. Anyways, you're so powerful. You are so capable. And just know that you have the power to create whatever it is you want. Get out of the waiting energy, get crystal clear on what it is that you want in your life, and know that you have the power to create anything and everything that you want. So love you guys. Thanks for being here. See you in the next episode.
That was wild. And speaking of wild, I don't know if you can hear my neighbors. Their kids are back from autumn vacation and they're really excited and they're really thrilled. So apologies if you do hear background noises, but I'm going to finish this video because otherwise I will never be able to stop filming and we don't want that. So apologies if you hear a lot of background noises. All of this is very, very wild. And I do have to agree with her on some things. You are powerful and you are worthy. So get out of network marketing and get out of arbonne. You're better than that and you deserve more. You deserve so much more. And then speaking on energy, I'm sorry and I'm not sorry. You will not get money. You will not become a money magnet if you just stay a little bit longer. If you formulate your wishes precisely, if you step into your masculine or your feminine energy and era. Network marketing is designed for most people to not make money, to financially fail with no fault of their own. If everybody in network marketing was a money magnet with precise financial energy, because they believe they serve humanity, then MLMs wouldn't exist anymore because MLMs would be broke. MLMs cannot afford it if everybody wins in the company. If everybody is able to make a profit, no. In that case, you would have to get a normal job. In network marketing, that would mean the death, the end, the termination of the network marketing system. So my conclusion is, might surprise you. Let's not join network marketing. Let's not join Arbonne. It's getting really noisy where I am right now, so I will stop filming. It's also getting super dark out. I mean, it's autumn after all. It is only 3 o'clock and it's already really, really dark outside. So it's time for me to say farewell. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you like these videos, comment something down below if you would like to let me know something. All of that does help this channel out a lot. And if you like these types of videos, then hopefully I will see you in my next one. Until then, cheers!